Hey, Dakota here with Old Pecan Homestead. We've got a little project here that I'm gonna probably do a few videos on, or at least two. Try to get some video of the work on it tonight and the next few days. But part of our homestead is we try to be as thrifty or as practical and make money where we can. Especially right now, I'm kind of between jobs and in the middle of trying to start a business and whatnot. So anytime we can make $500 or $1,000, it makes a huge difference. We really should have done a video on the livestock trailer restoration we did, and we made about $4,000, a little less if you include fuel and whatnot. Actually, I think part of my calculations, I never finished the total cost to pick it up. I did figure fuel getting it, and I got all my materials. I know what those cost me. I had a couple of things on hand already, like the load cell and indicator were like used parts from my previous job. But so I know all that. I just never really calculated the final fuel and whatnot. If I'm just thinking roughly off the top of my head, we made at least $3,800 profit flipping it. One of those deals you find it on Facebook Marketplace, and we had to be really persistent to get it because the guy was being really hit or miss about availability. Come look at it, and we just basically told him, "Hey, we're coming." We showed up on him, and he ended up not being there, but his grandpa was, and it was actually his grandpa's anyway. So we ended up getting that deal and flipping it. But anyhow, back to the point. I'm going to show you a little project that we have coming up to make a little bit of money for the farm, for the homestead. And we've been doing this. Me and Shayla have been flipping and buying and selling and picking up free stuff, fixing it, selling it. We've been doing things like this since we've been married. So it's nothing new. We're just we're getting into a little bit bigger projects as of lately because the need for more return on our investment is getting greater and greater with the economy and inflation and our current situation and whatnot. But I'm going to try to keep this short and just explain to you why I think it is a really good idea to use a pop-up trailer to start your own utility trailer build. 99% of the hard work is already done, okay? You don't have to even think about how you're going to build your frame because it's already been done for you. The only things that I think you're really going to have to consider is how you want your axle to be or lay out. So I've got two builds here. I've got one I did 4 or 5 years ago, and I've got this one here that is going to be a build for, I would say, profit. We're flipping this to try to make some money, and this one is a little different. It's got a torsion axle. It's low profile, which is very beneficial to somebody for like a toy hauler, four-wheelers, things like that. So this axle will stay. Okay, now on this one, this is the one I built 4 or 5 years ago. It had a standard leaf spring style axle. It was even shorter than this one, so further inside the frame rail. Probably the wheels were about in line with this actual frame rail right here, and the leaf springs were like, way inside. It was kind of an oddball deal, but one of those deals where, like I said, at least the framing's done, and we put a used axle on it. This thing has really served its purpose. I was able to build it in a gravel driveway with that Harbor Freight welder, Chicago Electric welder, for very little money. I think at the time, with wood, metal, the welder and everything, I think an axle, I think I built it for $700 or something. We're talking, had to buy a welder, $700, including buying the welder, which I've used for so much since then. But anyways, that's your biggest concern. What are you going to do at the axle? just add the correct length axle for a couple $100, or in that case, I think maybe $60 we paid for the used axle, or leave it. Okay. Well, in that one's case, leaving it wasn't a very good idea. You know, way inside the frame. This one, I could have either chopped off this side, but I didn't really want to do that. I wanted to, you know, make the trailer as big as possible and just do a pretty good workaround on these wheels. So what we're going to do is build fenders over it, and I think it'll still be a very practical trailer. You know, a guy could drive up a four-wheeler on this side. He could drive one up here. You know, he could load 2 four-wheelers, and I bet a guy could get, well, if he loaded his four-wheelers going this way, he could probably get, you know, 2 four-wheelers, couple dirt bikes, maybe a couple mini dirt bikes on here. I think it'll be a really, really nice little toy hauler build when it's all said and done, or lawnmower build. I'm probably going to go ahead and build a ramp for the back. So if a guy wanted to haul his lawnmower on it, and I'm going to put lots of tie downs around it. But, you know, I think all in all, you know, you've got a day or two, depending on how good you are with a welder, you know, day to 2 or 3 days in framing you don't have to do. And in this case, I only paid $50 for this. So, you know, I had to buy 2 new tires, about $90 a pop, so $200 in tires. I'll have about $300 or $400 in material by the time it's said and done with, but I really think we can double our profits on this build. But that's just some of the benefits to buying a pop-up trailer for a build or acquiring a free one. But your biggest cons, like I said, is going to be your axle. Another con would be, like, for my case, both of these were already stripped whenever I got them. But one thing you might have to consider is if you don't just come across one, or know somebody with one, or see one for sale really cheap, you may end up having to actually tear that pop-up off, which would be a hassle. I'm not even sure that I would want to deal with it if I had to tear it off, because I don't want to have to worry about hauling stuff off to the dump. I don't know. Maybe I need to try it one day and see how many hours it takes to tear it apart, and what it costs to get rid of material if it's not scrappable or whatnot. But you can find free pop-ups fairly often. Like I said, you just got to deal with it. You got to do something with the trash on it, you know, that comes from tearing it apart. But if you like watching fabrication videos and stuff like that, let me know. I'm not very good at explaining what I'm doing, but I know a lot of people just like to watch the creativity that goes into it and whatnot. But if you like it, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell for notifications, and watch what else we have coming up. Shayla's got us in on this big collaboration with about 60 other channels, and part of this video that I'm fixing to do on our current project, you'll see on one of my trailers, the next project, and I'll have Shayla tag that in the video and explain, put a little tag in there and explain what that project is exactly. Hope you enjoy.